Welcome to Figuring Out Homestead Life with Jenny and Allison.
Hey, Allison.
Hi, Jenny. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Good. I've got two puppies on the couch.
I had to sequester mine because they were being very loud. And I was like, I don't trust you to not interrupt us. So you're going in this other room.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure they're going to start barking if they hear the tractor running or something.
It's always something.
Yes. How has your week been so far?
Pretty good. I got my SCOBY finally.
Yay.
Long time coming. Yeah. So now it started. I started it on the 2nd, I believe. So that's going. I think it said to give it 7 to 14 days before you start like tasting it. So start that soon. We continue to work on our chicken tractor. We're almost done. We just have a couple like very quick little things and then that's completely done. And the chicks did ship yesterday.
Woohoo.
So I'm thinking they'll be here tomorrow.
Probably.
Yeah. Saturday the latest, but I'm hoping tomorrow because that seems like a long time. This is the first time I've ever had them like come through the post office. So I'm kind of nervous.
So my recommendation for that, I know we're going to get into this, but because they're coming so quickly, is I would recommend that you call your local post office.
I did.
Okay. Just let them know, hey, I have live animals coming. Oh, look, there's the lawnmower. Can you hear it?
It's a working farm, people.
It is. It is.
What's been new with you? Anything?
Picked up daughter from the airport because we have a family funeral this week. So she flew in today and she flies home tomorrow afternoon.
Oh,
so quick trip. Very quick trip, but I'm very thankful for the time in the car with her. So it's, yeah, it was good.
Good.
It's a good long ride to the airport, at least an hour in the car.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good little ride.
My sourdough bread that I've made this week has kind of been a bust. I don't know. Well, I'm doing something wrong. I'm probably letting it proof too long. It's coming out pretty flat. So I might turn it into croutons.
That was in one of our homesteading tips.
Yes.
For our Tuesday tips.
I think that's the plan. My kombucha is going very well, and I would recommend tasting it at day 7. Do the straw test at day 7 because mine was ready to go at day 7.
Oh, okay.
For bottling for the second fermentation. Yeah. So because of the heat, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We're doing lots of mowing because summer is here, and we're working on Randy's tiny house, which is almost ready to go. We may be testing it this weekend. We'll see.
Cool.
So, yeah. That's it. And
you always have so much stuff.
Well, yeah, I was like, and that's it. But really, there's Easter egg hunts on a daily basis, which we'll talk more about that.
No, I know.
Podcast. There's always animals, and with this heat, especially, we're watering, making sure everybody has water probably 3 to 4 times a day.
Right.
How
hot is it?
What's that?
How hot is it up there?
It's about 90 today. I think yesterday was maybe 95.
Oh, wow.
And I'm looking right now. It is only 62% humidity outside. This morning it was 71 out and 99% humidity.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah.
It is hot here too. Not that hot. I think it's 85, but we have had literally nothing but rain up until this. So I am just happy that the sun is out. So I'm not going to complain about the heat yet because I'm just glad it's not raining finally.
Right. That's true. I mean, we needed the rain. We got some rain, which was great. We had some storms roll through last week, which was wonderful. We did have a goat yoga session where it was raining in the morning. The sky cleared off. We had an amazing goat yoga session. And then my homestead help, Claire, and I were walking to the barn, and all of a sudden it started sprinkling. It was like, it was perfect.
Yeah. Awesome.
So yeah, it was really nice.
So do we want to get into today's topic?
Today's topic? You want to talk about today's topic?
Yes.
Okay.
So we are talking about chickens and turkeys, ducks, kind of all, poultry, waterfowl types of critters that we each keep.
Yes.
So I did go ahead. So I just have chickens. So that's mostly of course, that's what my experience is with, is just the chickens. So I did go ahead and just look up some kind of facts about chickens. Mostly it looks like they're mostly about laying hens. So just some little quick facts that I found interesting. The average age that a hen will live to is 5 to 8 years. They have an eclectic palate, eating anything from vegetables to fruit, bugs, worms. They clean themselves by getting dirty, by taking dust baths, which is always cute to see. Unless it's the first time and you don't know what's happening and you think your chicken's dying. Then you realize what's going on. They produce an egg every 25 hours, laying 100 to 365 eggs a year, which is that's kind of crazy. They're cranking them out. I also found just some different labels for people that are, looking at the labels on the eggs that they're buying in the store and what they actually mean, because it can be kind of misleading. Yes. So cage free, they can still be housed with hundreds of thousands of other hens in a warehouse style setting. Free range does not specify how long they have to be outside or how much space they have when they're outside. Pasture raised, hens roam freely outdoors and have the ability to forage. Organic, that does not necessarily mean that it's certified organic. So, just some things to think about when you're shopping. You're not always getting what you might think.
Right. And you know how to read the date on the end of the carton, like when the eggs were picked?
No, well, you did explain that to me, but yeah, why don't you explain that?
Okay, I may not get it 100% right, but there's a 4-digit code that has I think it's a 4-digit code. It's definitely 3 digits for 365 days of the year. And the number that I should have grabbed a carton. The number corresponds with the day of the year that the eggs were not collected, but sent to the market. So I believe farms have like 30 days to package eggs and get them off their farm to send them to market. And then, so that number on the carton is the date that it leaves the farm, not necessarily the date that the egg was picked out of the nest. So.
Yeah, because there was that kind of popular reel going around recently on Instagram that said, your eggs from the grocery store can be like 2 months, 3 months old. Yeah. By the time you're buying them. So that's
right.
That's kind of, I don't know, you wouldn't really think that. You don't really think about that when you're buying eggs.
No. I can't tell you the last time I bought eggs from the grocery store. Usually sometimes around Easter, we might have to buy eggs because we don't have enough eggs to boil for hard-boiled eggs.
Right.
But because the chickens are coming out of winter, and anyway, it's been years since I bought eggs.
Yeah, I haven't had to since I've since my girls started laying. So it was their first year, so they laid all through the winter.
Nice.
I'm assuming this winter they'll take the winter off, but now I have my new chicks, so they'll hopefully fill in because they'll just be starting to lay as we get into fall. So
yeah. We have provided supplemental light to our birds in the past. This past winter, we only extended the daylight for them for a couple hours, and they continued to lay all winter. And then toward the end of winter, I think the timer got messed up, so I just unplugged it and said, so be it. It'll be
a little break.
Right now our birds are laying quite well, and Easter egg hunt all over the barn because our laying hens are free range, literally free range all over the place. So every day it's like, where are the eggs today?
So do we want to talk, where are some of your sources that you're getting your poultry from?
So I started with chickens in 2010. And originally we purchased them. Can you hear that?
Oh, kinda.
Okay. Originally we purchased them from a hatchery, either someplace like McMurray Hatchery. I think Cackle Hatchery was one, Hoover's. There's a ton of different online places or catalog places that you can buy chickens from. And so we had some shipped through the mail. More recently, we've been going to Tractor Supply. And some people are like, I'm not getting my chickens from Tractor Supply. We've ordered them from Runnings, which is similar to Tractor Supply. It's like Tractor Supply on steroids in New York. We ordered turkeys and chickens from them this year. And then also this year we bought meat birds, turkeys, and guinea hens, which are new to us, guinea fowl, from Tractor Supply because we walked in to pick up some feed. I think we were looking for calf feed for the calf. Did we have her? No, we didn't have her then. Oh, we were getting milk replacer for the goats that we had to bottle feed. And we walked in the door and the girl at the counter said, all of our birds are $2 a piece. And it's like, well, that's a deal. And when they rang them up, it was $1 a piece.
Oh.
So we went and got more.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we're gonna get some more.
Cool.
Which is when I went back in and they had 6 guinea hens. And it was like, the guinea hens are $1 also? And I have no experience with guinea hens. So we're raising them like we raise our chickens and turkeys. So yeah, so that's our sources. There are local farms in our area that do raise fowl. Sorry. Mowing has to get done.
Yes.
Yes. What about you?
So when I got my original flock, I got them through the Ace Hardware. I don't know what hatchery they went through. I didn't ask. I didn't really know to ask. And
Yeah.
so I got them through there originally. The meat birds I just ordered, I did get from Murray McMurray Hatchery. So this is why this is the first time I've ever had them coming, to the post office. When I got them through Ace, the hardware store did all that and they just called me and, I went to the hardware store and picked them up.
Yep.
I did for my newer laying birds. I actually got an incubator and I hatched out some of my own eggs in the incubator, in the early spring, which was very interesting. It was really cool to kind of see that whole process. And I also had a hen, they call it going broody, which is when she is sitting on eggs to hatch them out. So so I let her, go ahead and do that. So she hatched out 4 chicks. So that's how I've kind of expanded my laying flock.
Yes. We did have a hen go broody a couple years ago. We actually had 2 hens go broody at the same time. And they took turns basically sitting on a clutch of 20 eggs.
Oh, wow.
Only 4 of them hatched.
Oh.
Of the 4, 2 were roosters.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see. Well, she hatched 4. One of them didn't make it. I'm not sure what happened. I think she actually might have accidentally crushed it. But who knows? But so far the 3 look like hens, but they're only 4 weeks old, so who knows?
I think there's a way to count like odd and even pin feathers that tells you if it's like if they're opposed. And I don't know for sure. They're either male or female, or if they're all together, it's the opposite.
Okay.
I'm not sure. There's some way to tell. Which is how the hatcheries do it when you order pullets.
Right. I'll just wait and see. They're not very friendly. So,
Okay.
And I think that's what I've read is a big difference. If, the hen does all the work, they're not obviously going to be reliant on me to give them food or do anything to them. They're not used to me going near them really. So they're not as friendly as when you raise them in your house. So, which is fine. As long as they lay eggs.
We did. So one year we bought, we raised ducks for meat one year because we had a friend who was a chef. And he had asked us to raise ducks for him. It's not one of my preferred meat flavors. I'm not a huge connoisseur of duck meat. So we purchased ducks from a hatchery, Pekin ducks from a hatchery at that point. And in doing my research, the ducks were coming from California.
Oh,
And it was like, that's a long way to go for shipping.
right.
And so it was like, we're going to try to go more locally. We're going to try to find more local sources, which, you know, Tractor Supply, the first time I bought chickens from Tractor Supply, I asked where they got them from, and this was years ago. They wouldn't say who their source was. Now, when you go into Tractor Supply and you ask them where they get their birds from, they'll tell you. At least our
I thought
local
it
one
was
tells
Hoover.
us.
Yeah, I thought they got their chicks from Hoover Hatchery.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. And I think Hoover I think it's in Ohio.
Okay.
So, which is not far from us at all. So,
Yeah. Okay, cool.
yes.
What about infrastructure? Do we want to talk about that? Like, what do we have to set up to have these creatures?
They do need shelter. So when we moved to the homestead here, there's a barn. We didn't have anything like set up specifically for our flock that we moved from the old house, which had their own coop at the old house. So we moved them in, and the first winter we lost almost all of them due to predators. Even though they had the barn, the predators were still getting in the barn. They were not protected. So it's very important to provide some type of structure for your birds. And you have an amazing coop.
Yes, Luke, I was very spoiled, and Luke built me a really nice coop. I drew this like first grade level drawing for him of my coop dreams, and somehow he's very talented, and he made it happen for me. So
Yes.
Yeah, we have a permanent coop for the laying flock with a attached run. And I do also let them free range. Usually I let them out in the afternoon to hope that they've already laid their eggs where they're supposed to. So I don't have to do the Easter egg hunt, because they are in the legit like woods. So that would be really difficult to go and find the eggs.
Yes. For us now, we do have a chicken coop, which in the wintertime, the chickens are all in the chicken coop, and then they're out during the day and they free range during the day in the winter. Right now, that coop is being used for the turkeys, the guineas, and the meat chickens as a shelter for them. And then the majority of our laying hens are in and around the barn, which now at least our barn, there's fenced paddocks. I'm not saying the chickens don't just roam the entire farm, because they do. But there is fenced paddocks that have electricity.
So that's what's helped with your predator issue.
Yeah. And we did, the first year that we had ducks, we built them a specific duck hut, and we moved it down to the pond. And I can tell you for certain, they do not use the duck hut. They waddle themselves right back up to the barn, and they hang out with the goats.
Cool.
Yep.
I do want to just mention, I did look up, like, for people that are, thinking about if they want to get into chickens and things like that, what they need to look at for, what is recommended for size requirements for infrastructure. So they don't need a ton of space. But what I have found is the general kind of consensus you can find online is you want to have, for the coop, 4 square feet per hen or per bird, whether it's a hen or a rooster. And then if you have them confined to a run also, the run should be 10 square feet per bird. They also do recommend you have 8 inches of roosting space per bird.
Yeah.
Which that seems kind of excessive to me. They kind of tend to just all bunch together, but
yeah.
But that's what I found. Also, for ventilation, it's really important to have ventilation on the coop. The more the better, to allow for airflow, because
Yes.
ammonia and things can get built up and that's not healthy for them to be breathing in. So, you know, the more ventilation you can have, the better, even in the winter. It seems kind of counterintuitive because it's freezing cold outside and you're like, oh no, the bird's too cold, but you have these open things, but it's, the key is to have it above where the birds are sitting so that they're not getting a draft blown on them, but that there's airflow kind of circulating.
Yes. Plus, with the ventilation, the birds have feathers and they have lots of layers of feathers, so they're
Mhm.
very well insulated.
Yeah, I think this winter was probably the coldest winter I can remember. I think it got down, like the actual temperature, not just with the wind, was like -15 or something, which is really cold for us. And you know, I don't have electricity on at my chicken coop,
Mhm.
so there was no way to add heat if I wanted to, and they were fine.
They don't
So
need it. Yeah,
yeah,
unless they're chicks.
right.
Unless they're chicks that aren't feathered out, they don't need the heat.
Yeah.
I don't know about like Fargo, North Dakota, where it gets -40. I'm assuming it gets -40 there. But as far as I understand, chicks don't need, or chickens do not need the heat.
Yeah, as long as you're choosing a breed that's meant to live in cold climates. Like I know there's some that don't have like like normal feather structure, like
Yeah.
maybe silkies or frizzles, you know, kind of like fancy ornamental breeds might not be as hardy. So as long
Mhm.
as you're choosing a breed that's suitable for your climate, they should be fine with no
Yes.
heat.
Yes.
Good, very valid point. Yes. We choose hardy breeds.
Yeah.
Australorps. Australorps, yeah.
So what about feed requirements? Do we want to talk about that?
The only thing I can tell you on feed requirements, you probably did more research than I did. So they need a certain level of protein. I want to say is it 16% protein feed for egg layers? And that may be high. I may be wrong. They need a certain percent for laying eggs. And chickens really will eat just about anything. They're omnivores.
Right. Yeah. So when you see the only fed vegetarian on the commercials or whatever, it's like, is that really good? Because they don't want to just eat a vegetarian diet. That's not natural.
No, cows
So-
are vegetarians.
Yeah. That might, they say it to make it sound good, but actually that's not very healthy for the chicken because
No.
they love bugs, they love mealworms, anything crawling around. I've seen mine eat frogs. So
Yes.
yeah, I mean, the only thing I really had for food is they do need some, just even if you're free ranging them, they do need some sort of commercial diet. You can't just, they're not going to forage for everything that they need. That will help and supplement it.
Yeah.
It might reduce your feed costs, but it's not going to replace it. So they do need commercial feed. You know, it's kind of up to you what's important to you. If you want to go organic, or you can do corn free, soy free. That's kind of just like a personal choice as to what is important to you.
Yeah.
I do feed a starter grower formula because I have a rooster, and the layer feed can be a little high in calcium for roosters.
Yeah.
So then I just give them oyster shells for the hens, the laying hens on the
Yeah.
side to give their calcium, and I feed their eggs back to them too.
The shells, lots of good calcium in those.
Yep. So yeah.
Yeah.
And I give them treats, lots of table scraps.
Lots of
No
table scraps.
wasted,
What's
no
that?
wasted food. I said no wasted food.
No. No.
Do you have anything to add about, because I've really only touched on like the chickens. Do you have anything to add about the ducks or the, turkeys, any of the other types that you currently keep?
So we feed all of our birds the same feed, whether they're turkeys, chickens, guinea hens, we're feeding them all the same feed, which is basically just an all stock. It's a grain all stock that we get from our local feed mill. We have tried different feeds. We've tried a mash, and to me, they waste so much of it. And I've read a lot lately about people soaking their feed and feeding fermented feed.
Yeah.
I've tried soaking it. I haven't actually fermented it. I don't have the bandwidth to spend on fermenting feeds. And then something else I've read recently is that actually fermented feeds for your chickens is not healthy for them. So I
Oh,
don't know if that's true. Don't want to
yeah.
spread misinformation. I do not know.
Well, yeah, if there's some kind of like, you know,
Yeah.
counter information, it's like, who knows if what you're doing is working? It's like, why change it up?
Right. And that's, we have stuck with the, just feeding them the all stock grain and it works. They lay very nice eggs. And they get, I actually, since we've put the cows, the heifers out, the chickens are loving rooting through the cow crap.
Yep.
It's like, okay. Yes. You see them walking around with their it's not mud. Their little claws. It's like, oh, that's so gross. But yep. They're happy.
Yeah. Cool. Well, that's
Yep.
how, yeah. So it's all works together.
Yes. I think I've talked to you, I don't know if I've mentioned it on the podcast, that we have we have 8 ducks right now. 6 we got from the Tractor Supply dollar special. 1 is from a previous flock that we had. And then Mr. Waddles, who is our lone pekin duck right now, he came from a friend's mother, she had chickens and ducks, and his mate died. I'm not quite sure how. And he became a part of her chicken flock. And so he hangs out with our chickens. He does not want to hang out with the ducks.
Oh, that's why he likes your chickens, because that's what he do.
Yeah,
Okay.
he thinks he's a chicken. I have tried putting him in the pond and he's like, nah. He messed around for about 5 minutes and then he went right back up to the barn with the chickens.
Oh,
I tried putting our female duck from the previous block in, and she was like, nah, I'm not hanging out with him. She now hangs out with the six adolescent ducks that we got from Tractor Supply.
She knew he wasn't a real duck.
What's that? She knew
he wasn't a real duck.
He's a chicken. I'm not hanging out with him. We should talk about predators.
Yes.
So we do have a decent predator load here. Coyotes, fox, raccoons, and weasels. Weasels and fisher are big threats here. There was one year we lost, I want to say 24 pullets they were just about probably 3 months in from chick size up to pullet size, getting close to laying, and we had a weasel get in the coop they were in, and it was a sealed coop, but the weasel got in and we found them like stacked. And the reason why we believe it was a weasel is because weasels kill for sport, not for meat. And it was like they were all killed in the exact same manner and they were just stacked. Like it went through the roost and just one at a time got them in the dark.
That's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think weasels can fit through a space of like a 1/4 inch or something crazy. So, I mean, you have to really be, that's that's one of the main predators around here is weasels. We have fisher cat, probably the same, fisher cats, weasels, raccoons, fox, coyote,
Dogs.
prey. Yeah, my dogs, owls, hawks. So yeah. Knock on. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say Lucky likes to chase them. He knows better than to actually catch them, but he does like to chase them.
Yeah, my dogs they're in the fenced yard. If they got up to the chickens, there would be a big pile of feathers.
Yeah.
That's actually, I'm interested how they're going to do. So with our meat birds, we're putting them in the chicken tractor, which is going to be in the fenced in area where the dogs are. So that's going to be interesting. We will see how that goes. They will be, of course, protected with the wire, but we'll see.
Do you want to talk about like eggs specifically? So duck eggs, chicken eggs. Do you have any experience with duck eggs?
Not really. I mean, I know duck eggs are supposed to be good for baking because they have a higher fat content.
Yeah.
That's really the extent of my knowledge.
Okay.
We don't refrigerate our chicken eggs. They don't need to be refrigerated. I don't know if a lot of people in the US realize that when the chickens lay them, or the ducks or the turkeys or whatever eggs you have, there's what's called a bloom on the egg, which is a protective layer that prevents bacteria from going into the egg.
Mhm.
So they can be kept, as long as you don't wash them, they can be kept just on your counter for several weeks. Or if you do decide to put them in the refrigerator, they'll last for many months.
Yes.
I believe the US is one of the only countries that refrigerates the eggs.
Yes.
So,
We do refrigerate ours, probably just out of habit more than anything. And we sell them, so Randy takes them to work and sells them, so
mhm,
our eggs get refrigerated. And I think you just said this, if you wash them, then you should refrigerate them.
right.
I am trying to, at this point, I'm trying to keep some eggs out of the refrigerator. Like, I'll collect them and leave them on our counter so that I can bake with them without having to let the eggs come back to room temperature, because
Right.
things taste better and they
Yes.
fluff up better.
Yeah, I do. If I have my overstock, I do sell my eggs as well. So if I have like an abundance,
Mhm.
I start putting them in the fridge just because I'm going to sell them to other people, and more than likely they're going to put them in the fridge. So but
Yeah.
ones that we eat are just kept on the counter.
Mhm.
Do you do anything to preserve your eggs when you're kind of in an abundance in the spring and summer, or?
No, because we sell.
Okay.
So it's, I've seen people, what is it, water glassing them.
Yep.
I've seen people freeze them. We don't. It's,
Okay.
we just sell our excess and hope we have enough eggs for ourselves.
Right. I did start freezing some, which I did make a video on. I made an Instagram post on our Instagram page about it, but it's pretty simple. But have been freezing them just for baking purposes in the winter because I don't know how many I'm gonna have, and I really don't want to buy them because
Yeah.
I only have right now the 9 hens, so I don't have like a ton of. You have way more chickens than I do, so
We have, so we have, I think 20 layers, one rooster, and then we picked up 6, I think 12 more hens, either from Runnings or Tractor Supply. So yeah, and they won't start laying for another, when we get those, the end of March, April, May, June, July. Beginning of next month, they may start laying.
cool. Yeah. So that's quite a bit.
Yes, yes. And I have not looked to see if any of them are roosters. I haven't really paid attention.
Mm-hmm.
So once we start processing turkeys, it'll be easier to be like, okay, let me look at those hens, or what I think are hens. So
So did you give your totals for like how many turkeys, how many ducks, how many, is it guinea hens? Is that the other thing that you have?
we have guinea hens. So we did purchase 6 guinea hens. We were down to 5. One did not survive the little chick stage, but now they're basically, they look like adult guinea hens now. So we have 5 of those. We have, what did I say, 20 mature laying hens. We have 12 pullets coming up, so we'll be at 32 plus a rooster. We have 20 some meat chickens. And then we have 20 turkeys. And then actually we did purchase some heritage breed turkeys, because I would like to keep a couple of turkeys on the property year round and see if maybe we can hatch some turkey eggs, so that it could be self-sustaining instead of having to
Right.
go buy turkeys every year for chicks. This way we'll see if we can get some to lay eggs. And we had a camper on the farm last weekend who her mother raises peafowl.
Oh,
So I've been talking to her to learn more.
Now, what is a peafowl for people that don't know what that is?
So a peacock,
Yeah.
a peacock or a peahen. So a peacock is actually the male peacock or peafowl. And a peahen would be the female. So I've messaged her back and forth, and finding out how much it's going to cost. She mentioned that they're more susceptible to coccidiosis than laying hens. She doesn't recommend keeping them with your laying hens. She did say you could keep them with your turkeys, which I don't know. The turkeys seem a lot more gross to me than the laying hens. I don't know. But actually, if we're going to keep our heritage breed turkeys, then we could keep a couple peafowl.
That would be really cool.
For us, it would be purely for a novelty, not. Yeah, I don't know.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Didn't I say to you recently you should get peacocks?
Oh,
And
she's got some gorgeous birds. And the chicks, I think she said, sell for about $45 a chick. $35 to $45 a chick, which is not awful.
No,
because the adults go for like 100 to 300 for a full grown adult.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because I order chick catalogs. It's just like as fun as looking through seed catalogs.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw some peafowl in there, and they were expensive. I was like, oh, wow. I didn't realize they would be that much money. So
yeah. Yes, and
cool.
She's here in New York, so it would be, supporting a local farm, a local business.
Right.
I have to convince somebody that we should do this.
You don't ask for permission, you just ask for forgiveness after.
I don't think he heard you. Maybe he did hear you. He looked. So what about you? What are your plans for your flocks? So you're getting the meat birds this week?
Yep. The meat birds should be here. Not really. I think I'm kind of like done with raising new chicks for the layers for now. Unless, I think I'm done. I think we're done with that for now, which I don't think I'll have another hen go broody or anything. Usually that's a springtime activity. So they should be all over that stage. So yeah, just the meat birds. Hopefully we will eventually get ducks, but that's, down the line, not this year, at least. So we're just going to do this one round of meat birds and see how that goes and kind of go from there.
Cool. I would like to say that a great resource for chickens and ducks would be Lisa Steele from Fresh Eggs Daily. She takes a lot of flack from a lot of people, at least on social media, it seems, because her coop is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she puts a lot of time and she decorates it, and it's gorgeous, and there's no way I could ever do that. I don't think I could keep a coop as nice as she does, but she does an amazing job. And she knows her stuff about her birds. So
yeah, I actually had a couple of her books that I brought up. Well, I thought I did. Because I do follow her. I have she has a book, 101 chicken keeping hacks. She also has Duck Eggs Daily for the ducks, and I believe it kind of touches on geese in there as well. She also has a cookbook that kind of goes over how to use all your excess of eggs. Also there's the Chicken Chick on Instagram. Do you know her? She's kind of similar to Lisa Steele with the style. Very, very nicely maintained chicken coops, but she also, has a lot of good advice. She has a blog. She may have a book, I'm not sure. Also, for another resource, there's backyardchickens.com, which if you're a beginner, you can go on there and literally ask any question, and like it doesn't matter